I wanted to cover this just very briefly because I happen to know that John Hastings will have immediate answers to this question, but I did just want to go over the fact that Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff have launched Real American Freestyle. Do you know about this?
I absolutely know everything about it. What I just love is some poor man in Florida is about to lose
his fucking lunch. He's gone.
These two guys are terrible businessmen. They are horrific to work with. And they have the thing is also, this isn't even Hulk Hogan in 2010.
No.
Hulk Hogan now is like a hated figure by his like.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was watching that the first Raw on Netflix. When he came out and they booed the poop out of him. I don't know why I'm now not swearing. What the fuck am I doing there?
I was more proud of LA then than I was when the Dodgers won the World Series. I was like, that's my fucking city, bro.
I knew it was happening as soon as he came out, where I was like, wow, I can't believe that they let this man associated with a person that's known for hating Latin people in Latin people like, you
right.
know, like
and black people in Inglewood.
Like that's like, before we get to any of that it's LA, it's in a very progressive thing where it was just like, yeah, man, this isn't gonna go. Like, what were they fucking thinking? I think that they knew what was gonna happen.
Yeah,
and they did it so he would stop calling.
I mean, it worked. So, Real American Freestyle looks to blend the drama of pro wrestling and the reality shows with the unscripted competition of freestyle wrestling.
That's pro wrestling.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop reinventing. Hey, it's not like those normal cheeseburgers. This is a bun with a beef patty in between the two buns.
Well, like, depending on which way you take it, it's either pro wrestling or it's just the Ultimate Fighter, where it's like, okay, here's these guys.
I feel like there's going to be predetermined endings in this. I have a feeling.
The first league of its kind, Real American Freestyle, has already announced former UFC fighter Ben Askren, former Olympian and world champion Kennedy Blades.
The first MMA fighter Jake Paul knocked out.
Is that right?
14 seconds.
Yeah, I was going to say, why
no.
like Ben Askren... Get me Quentin Rampage Jackson. You know what I mean?
He's also would be fucking horrible at that.
That's what I mean. But at least he has a personality. Like there's at least like there's
Ben Askren tried to do the fake pro wrestler persona in the like interviews and press conferences, and then when he got knocked out a bunch of times, everyone was real happy. He also got the fastest knockout in the history of the UFC done to him.
Oh Jesus! Well, they've also got former Olympian and world champion Kennedy Blades and former national champion Zahid Valencia. Do you know any of these people, Sam?
I like that when something has so few stars that by the second person you're like, I don't know who that is.
The COO is going to be decorated wrestling coach Israel Martinez, and of course Eric Bischoff will be the chief media officer, with Hogan serving as the commissioner.
The thing is, wrestling is really popular in other parts of the world, like competitive wrestling like this.
Yeah,
but it's not in America. So using these people with their names is not going to draw anyone except for like people who watch college wrestling.
Yeah,
which is not that many people.
So the main thing I wanted to get to, though, Hogan discussed amateur wrestlers making the transition to pro wrestling. While speaking to TMZ, he said, quote, I've been in the ring with some really crazy wrestlers. Like, I got Brock Lesnar right after he left the UFC. I got him first. So, worth noting, Lesnar and Hogan only ever wrestled once on a 2002 episode of SmackDown, 6 years before Lesnar debuted in the UFC. Lesnar would notably leave the UFC in 2011, at which time Hogan was with TNA. So, just out the gate with some bullshit.
I mean, it's not even, what's crazy about that is that's not even close to one of his, like, the 400, I've lived a 400-day year is the craziest thing
we're
ever.
getting there. So the next part of the quote, I got Kurt Angle when his eyeballs used to roll back like a shark and he'd just come after me. You know, Benjamin Shelton,
not his name.
All these different guys that I've had the opportunity to see adapt to our business. And I said, you know something, brother? There's something there with these amateur guys, brother. Shelton Benjamin, which is the man's name, responded this morning on Twitter, message to Hulk Hogan, you lost me forever with your don't get caught, or as you would call it, an apology speech. So rather than screw up my name and pretend we ever had any sort of camaraderie, which we never have had, please do me a favor and keep my name out of your fucking mouth. So shout out to Shelton Benjamin, the golden one.
Now, for those of you who don't understand wrestling, Shelton Benjamin is the most fascinating, because the thing with pro wrestling is there are people that are just good at performing.
Yeah.
And then there are guys that were legitimate, dangerous catch wrestlers.
Yes.
Who would like to have a pool, so they do pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And Shelton Benjamin, like if you were starting a freestyle wrestling league, you would actually be like, let's get Shelton Benjamin. Yeah. He can actually do this shit.
He trained with, I think, at University of Minnesota with Brock Lesnar. They were friends, so they have that ability.
He used to look like Kevin Randleman. He had like the dyed hair.
Yes, like, the golden one.
Legit fighter from the UFC champion, Kevin Randleman.
Yeah, I just love that he's mentioning all of these wrestlers and he gets their name perfect, and then he gets to the one black man and he's like, yeah, Benjamin Shelton. Like, buddy.
I mean, we're so lucky that he wasn't just like, I found Kamala down in the jungle.
Yeah. That, by the way, what he's talking about is a reference to the speech Hulk Hogan gave the WWE roster backstage when he was brought back after a racist sex tape. He reportedly spent most of the speech telling the wrestlers to be mindful of what they say, as cameras and microphones are always present. Some wrestlers, like Benjamin, this is supposed to be him apologizing for being a racist. He's like, seriously, brother, you got to watch out all the time. They're always got mics on you.
What you gonna do when your best friend mics up your bedroom and for no reason in the middle of sex with his wife, you just full say the N-word? Like, that's what people don't remember about it. It's like, well, he said it in a recording. It's like, no, he
drops it in the most casual way.
Oh, yeah.
Where you can say he says it all the time.
It's pillow talk.
Yeah. Wrestlers like Benjamin, Titus O'Neil, and The New Day publicly stated that they felt Hogan's apology lacked genuine remorse and did not accept it. They expressed a need to see genuine effort and change from Hogan. They are still waiting. So to celebrate this new venture, I figured it'd be fun to go through some of Hulk Hogan's greatest lies.
Baby.
Let's do the quick hits, John. What's your favorite Hogan lie?
I would have gotten the George Foreman grill if I'd picked up the phone.
Oh, yes.
And that has since been disputed by the inventor of the George Foreman grill. That was like, no, we entered into negotiations with the George Foreman years before
directly.
I don't know if you know how business works, Hulk Hogan, but it's not like the lottery, you psychopath.
So he said that he missed out on the opportunity to endorse what would become the George Foreman grill because he was, quote, picking his kids up from school when the grill called, brother. And I do like to just mention the grill itself with its, it's flapping and talking on the phone.
That book is so insane. So the George Foreman book grill thing is from My Life in Wrestling. The International Date Light thing is from My Life in Wrestling.
Yes. That's the next one I got. In his second autobiography, My Life Outside the Ring, Hogan made the following outlandish claim, quote, if I say I wrestled 400 days a year, that's no exaggeration. My years were actually longer than 365 days. There were times when I'd fly back and forth to Japan twice a week just to wrestle. Now, it was nothing to wrestle in Madison Square Garden one day and fly all the way to the Egg Dome in Tokyo the same day because you'd gain 14 hours and then fly back to the West Coast and so on. So I could wrestle in Japan today, then fly back across the international date line and land in another town yesterday. I was constantly adding days to my year. There are no records of him doing this, and also that is mathematically impossible since you lose a day when traveling across the international date line.
I was going to say, going from Madison Square Garden to Japan's a far fucking flight.
Yeah, it's also like you have to get he also just didn't straight up do that because when he was headlining Madison Square Garden, he was no longer involved in All Japan, I believe was the one he was associated with.
Yeah. He also claimed to have been on a flight from Japan with Kerry Von Erich 72 hours before he killed himself in 1993. This isn't possible since Hogan didn't go to Japan in 1993, and neither did Kerry because he was not allowed to leave the country because of his indictment on drug charges. So, like, Kerry couldn't have been there at all at that point.
Or he could have. Get off your high horse, Sam. Maybe Hogan's telling the truth the whole
time. He's been getting his info from ChatGPT about how dates work.
Yeah. One of my favorites, he claimed that Elvis Presley was a big fan of his, while Elvis was a fan of wrestling, and there was a long rumored match to take place between him and Jerry the King Lawler at the Mid-South Coliseum. Elvis died 2 years before Hulk Hogan debuted in Memphis in 1979.
It's actually specifically, it's Jackie Fargo is who he's pretending he was. Because they think it's Elvis was like loved Jackie Fargo.
Yeah, I think he was, I forgot which one. It was one of the women wrestlers there that he specifically went there to whistle at and shit.
Man, the time is crazy. I just bought. How much money do you have? I bought a ticket to harass a lady.
According to Hogan, he met a very sick Make-A-Wish kid in England and got him a ticket to SummerSlam 92 at Wembley Stadium to watch him wrestle in the main event. Hogan was not only not in the main event at Wembley, he wasn't even there when SummerSlam 92 occurred. He was not an active wrestler in the company. He left WWE after WrestleMania 8 and did not appear again until February 93 on Monday Night Raw. Speaking of music stuff, by the way,
Metallica.
Speaking to the newspaper The Sun, Hogan once said, quote, "I used to be a session musician before I was a wrestler. I played bass guitar. I was big pals with Lars Ulrich, and he asked me if I wanted to play bass with Metallica in their early days, but it didn't work out."
Oh, that's crazy. No one's ever seen you play an instrument ever.
He actually can play the bass. That part is real. He played in like bar bands in Florida and shit. There are photos of him doing this, but
he's a millionaire in making this. Like, he's had an amazing life.
That's the other thing. It's like, I think somebody would have noticed a 6'7" tall man fucking around the Sunset Strip with Metallica.
Yeah. Also, Metallica was not popular until the late '80s. So you're saying that in the middle of you literally flying back and forth from Japan 400 days a year, you're popping in.
During an interview on the Howard Stern show, Lars Ulrich said, quote, "I was scratching my head on that one. I don't know Hulk Hogan. I certainly have no recollection of doing anything with Hulk Hogan." He later walked back the story saying that he just sent the band a video of him playing bass, but never heard back from them.
That's the most insane thing ever. It's like, yeah, we were friends. I sent them a videotape unsolicited to a P.O. box.
That's fucking an open micer story if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, I'm past at the Comedy Store. They let me sometimes hang out there.
Jay Moore lets me fucking open for him all the fucking time.
I'm Jay Moore's opener. I met her once and he counted some wet money.
In 2011, he was asked on a New York City sports show if he would be interested in participating in MMA. He said that he actually fought a lot of pride fighters during his time in Japan in 1977.
Literally not possible.
And that whenever he had a wrestling match in Japan, he never knew if he was going to get into the ring with a shooter.
Oh, sorry. What he meant was he wrestled a bunch of guys who were enslaved by the Yakuza. That's what he meant.
Oh, there was like a thing about that too, where he was like, "Yeah, we had to run from the Yakuza, brother, because I knocked out Inoki." I think he said I had to give Inoki CPR. And when I got back to the back, I had to run from a bunch of Yakuzas. Like, just shit like that.
It's also so funny, the Americans' interpretation of what foreign organized crime is. Like, I had to run from the Yakuza. And it's like, well, that would be funny to them because they'll just go to your hotel because they already know where you are because they control everything.
They're friends with the owner. Yeah. Pride, a Japanese MMA company, was first established in 1997. Hogan's first tour of Japan happened in 1980. He was never even in Japan in 1977.
And the thing is, Pride did feature actual pro wrestlers competing in MMA, and some of them were very, very successful at it.
Who's successful?
Sakuraba.
Is Sakuraba originally a pro wrestler?
Yes, he would come out in a fucking wrestling mask in his first fights, and then he tapped out all the Gracies.
Holy shit, I had no idea.
Hogan once told Howard Stern that he was offered Mickey Rourke's lead role in The Wrestler 3 times. Hogan said, quote, "When the script for The Wrestler kept coming to me, I said, this movie is so good. If you put me in the film as a wrestler, people are going to say, no credibility. Hulk Hogan isn't a good actor. Whatever Hollywood thinks of me."
Why would anyone think that about him?
Darren Aronofsky said, quote, "For the record, the lead role of The Wrestler was always Mickey Rourke, and it was never Hulk Hogan," as he claimed on Howard Stern. My two favorites, though, this is early Hulk. This is Little League Hulk. He claimed that his performance in the West Tampa Little League put him on the map, and talent scouts from the New York Yankees and the Cincinnati Reds, a team that Macho Man actually played for, came to see him play. He claimed that his batting average was an unheard of .714 in the Little League World Series.
A Hall of Fame number.
I was going to be like, I don't know anything about baseball, but that sounds because I was
that means that 71% of all of his fucking at bats are
33 is like a Hall of Fame level.
I was going to say, because isn't like 50% like unheard of?
Yeah, no one hits that.
Unfortunately, impressive baseball career got cut short because of an injury. Quote, "I threw underhanded to first base, brother. I broke my arm. My arm was never the same."
Why'd you throw underhanded? On a short little pitch pass, I guess?
I'm a liar.
Yeah. I mean, maybe all his fucking interviews are works, and he thinks about them like that.
Yeah. This is the thing that people do have to remember about anyone involved in pro wrestling is they are liars. They are con artists. Like, it's like, can you believe this happened? I'm like, yeah, man. Like, he pretended to be a dude from Venice, California,
right?
And to represent that, he wore a yellow bandana and ripped off his shirt. Like,
also, he's supposed to be Irish.
That's right. He's fighting Hulk Hogan. Yes, exactly.
Of course, the Little League has no record of Terry Bollea participating in any of their events ever. But my favorite one, and this one, they just had that documentary. Did you watch the WrestleMania 9 where they had the uncovered footage?
No, I did not.
Oh, buddy, it's good. It's on Peacock. They had all this backstage footage they shot. It's kind of like Last Dance, where they shot all this shit and then just it's been sitting in the warehouse and they cut it together into a movie. And it's literally the first time there are cameras backstage at like a lot of these events, so everyone looks so uncomfortable.
Here's my question: does it answer the question whether or not, and I don't know, Sam, how deep Sam's wrestling knowledge of this time was?
Not that deep.
This is because there's rumors. So Hulk Hogan showed up with a crazy black eye.
Oh yeah.
Is it this one? Do we now have confirmation that it was Macho Man Randy Savage punching him in the face?
They play pretty fast and loose with it, but in the documentary, Hogan, his contemporary interview, he's the only one that says that what I'm about to tell you, he said, because it's amazing. Everybody else in the documentary is kind of like, yeah, Macho punched Hogan because they had been drinking all day.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so like Bruce Pritchard says that, and I think Undertaker says that.
Because that was a big, like, no. That was up there with the... Which I don't believe the Macho Man Randy Savage slept with Stephanie McMahon.
Right.
Do you know this
that
one?
seems gross. That's a gross one.
Oh, it's a gross one that like people were like, we gotta know. And I don't think that.
I feel like
Well, I'm gonna watch her new travel show. Really see what's going on with that.
Oh God, what a fucking profiteer of death that woman is. Just like. Oh, I was totally unaware of my father's crimes. Now I have
and my husband's.
Yeah, exactly. In no way that my husband, who shared an office wall with that man, in any way heard orgies happening in the. Who's next door making all those weird, wet, groping noises? Oh, that's my father-in-law.
Oh, that's the sound of his T-Rex skull slapping against the wall that adjoins mine. So, for those that don't know, by the way, Hogan showed up to WrestleMania 9 with a shiner. Announcers say that he was attacked by unknown persons while leaving the gym. Most people think that he actually got punched in the face by Macho Man the night before. Hogan has another story. He said that he got hit in the face with a jet ski after drinking for 12 hours. Quote, I used to keep 4 Sea-Doos behind my house, and there's a crazy storm coming in, and then here we go, taking out those jet skis. Now I had these Sea-Doos, and all of a sudden I switched from one of my jet skis to this other guy's jet ski that he had. I don't remember what kind it was, but it was a quicker jet ski, and it had trim tabs on it, so, you could make the front end come up or go down. As we're going through the Clearwater Pass, we're jumping these crazy waves in the storm, and Brutus just takes off going straight ahead. Macho takes off going straight ahead. And so as I jump this wave, I get thrown off in front of the jet ski, and I got a life jacket on. So as I go into the water, I try to duck down, but the damn life jacket brought me up, and the jet ski hit me in the face.
You'd be fucking dead, bro.
Dead
You'd be
as
fucking
shit.
dead.
Yeah. So.
Why not just admit?
You got into a fist fight.
Yeah, I got into a fist fight with a guy who's wearing a cowboy hat that matches his
You should have seen
shoes.
the other guy.
Yeah, very simple to do. But I got hit by a jet ski going 40 miles per hour is such a great lie. It's amazing.
He did blow up his hand in a boat engine.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, but like he was working on a boat and he posted a picture of his fucked up blistered hand on Twitter.
I'm blocked by him.
Who?
Hulk Hogan.
You got blocked by Hulk Hogan?
Yeah.
What did you do?
I just said he was a racist piece of shit, and I didn't add him, which means he was name searching. I was like, that's kind of cool that he name searched me.
I mean, that's crazy.
Google alert set up.
I am a part of a wrestling podcast that has said some egregious things about that guy. Like I've implied that Hulk Hogan was behind the guy that his son killed in that driving accident.
Like, he didn't kill him, he just paralyzed him.
Prove me wrong.
That's exactly what I kept saying. Prove me wrong, Hulk Hogan. Also, let's never forget Hulk Hogan showing up at another one of his son's DUIs in a van and immediately leaving as soon as he saw body cams. Like, you can see him pull and be like, anything I can do off camera? No. Okay.
Yeah, he's just Homer Simpson's back into the mangroves.
Au revoir.
Yeah. So anyway, shout out to Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff. I know your new business will fail. So
people love, like you said, people love working with them. They've never fucked anyone over.
And shout out to Benjamin Shelton. Yeah, I always thought you were really fucking good.
Let's God bless all the
cool pride
the
fighters,
diverse talent that Hulk Hogan shouted out. Johnson Ahmed, and of course Wayne
E-Big.
Yeah, E-Big, Wayne the Stone Johansson,
of course.
That black guy, of course. I'm surprised he didn't just be like, and to that black guy, I know you're cool.
I know a couple black guys. This one's the most badass.
Yeah, I've met many black people when I was on the Bubba the Love Sponge radio show.
Oh yeah, MVP called him a piece of shit today too. By the way, that was cool. So
today,
yeah, the Shelton Benjamin thing was this morning. He was like, "Keep your name out of my fucking mouth," and then MVP was like, "Yeah, fuck you. You're a piece of shit."
I would be really worried if you pissed off Shelton. Like Shelton Benjamin is one of those guys where you're like, "How old that guy?" He's like, "He's 65 and he's done nothing but eat almonds and do push-ups." Are you really wanting to do this?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and he's still like wrestling, and he looks great.
Oh my god, he looks gorgeous.
Anyway, that's the Hulk Hogan news, folks.